What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be giving you a rundown on the country I've been studying over the past couple of weeks, which is Iraq. So let's get started. For those of you who didn't know, Iraq is located in the Middle Eastern part of the world. They are a member of the League of Arab States. For those of you who don't know what that is, that was created in March 1945, and it's pretty much just a combination of nations that have come together and kind of support one another, collaborate with each other. And so right in the yellow if you didn't see. Let's move on. Give you a brief description of history that's gone on in Iraq. And like I said, it's only going to be history that's relevant to what you guys are going to need to know if you were looking to start a business in Iraq. So we're going to start out in 1979 when Saddam Hussein became president. Since then, it's been pretty much all wars. So first, it was the Iran-Iraq War, which ran from 1980 to 1988. And this was over border disputes, and it began when we, Iraq, invaded Iran with air and land attacks. And the problem was, over the entire war, we never gained any land, so it just devastated our economy. Then, in 1990, we were smart enough to go to a war with Kuwait for more border disputes, which we didn't even get land out of. And here, if you don't know where Kuwait was, right southeast of Iraq, right there. So, just to give you some background, from 1991 then to 2003, if you could guess, Iraq underwent hyperinflation, and that was pretty much just because of the last two wars they were in for the past decade. Prices of everything increased, and the poverty increased because they were spending so much money for those wars that the prices of their resources and the cost of living was just so high, which made poverty increase. So then we're going to move on to what everyone is well known of is the Iraq-U.S. war, and it began after some terrorist attacks by Osama bin Laden, or Al-Qaeda, closer, which is known now as ISIS. So just going through the war a little bit, in 2006, Saddam Hussein was executed in Iraq. In 2011, Osama bin Laden was killed in Pakistan by U.S. Navy SEAL troops, which all of you should know. And then finally in 2011, the U.S. pulls troops from Iraq and the war ends in a stalemate. So let's move on to the government structure in Iraq. They run a parliamentary democracy, and it's similar to the U.S. because they have their three branches: executive, legislative, and judicial. I didn't write all of this on the screen because I didn't want to overwhelm you guys, but I'm just going to talk through the three branches here. So we'll start with the executive. It consists of a president and two vice presidents. I do have that on the screen there. And this is called the Presidency Council. There is also the Council of Ministers, which is made up by one prime minister and 2 to 3 deputy prime ministers, and 3 dozen cabinet members about. So let's move on to the legislative branch. That's made up of elected Council of Representatives, and that's all you need to know for that. Finally, the judicial branch is very independent. They are under no authority other than the law itself. It is comprised of many parts, including the Federal Supreme Court, the Public Prosecution Department, the Judiciary Oversight Commission, and just some other federal courts. Lastly, Iraq stands as a hierarchical society, which means that everyone has their own place. All the classes are very distinctly separated. So like some young subordinates are told what to do by a boss. And so that's a little bit different from here in the U.S. Over in Iraq, there are very distinct lines in between the classes. We'll move on to talking about the economy now. Iraq's main source of profit or income for the country is through oil exporting and importing. They are part of OPEC, the oil petroleum exporting countries, like a group, and they have the 5th largest oil reserves in the world. And obviously, since they have 73.9% of their GDP comes from exporting and importing, that just means all the oil they export and import is 74% of the GDP. Their GDP per capita is 15,664. GDP per capita, for those of you who don't know, is just a measure of a country's economic output compared to its population. We're going to now talk about the labor and workforce. So the amount of skilled labor in Iraq is 28.4%. That's a very low number. That can also be due to some of the limited education that a lot of citizens are getting. The unemployment rate is 8%. And just a side note, the unemployment rate between ages 15 and 24 is 18%. So that's like around a college student / teenage age. The unemployment rate 15 to 24 is 18%. And lastly, the employment to population ratio is 42%. So that's just taking the entire population compared to the employment of the population, and that ratio is 42%. So that's a very low number. We're going to move on to society and religion. So we'll start with some gender roles here in society. When all these wars have been going on, the men obviously have to go off and fight the wars. So that means the women are taking over their positions. Few become physicians, teachers, dentists, because there is there's a little amount of skilled labor. So most of them become factory workers and any other unskilled labor positions. Like in this previous slide, skilled labor force is 28%. So that's why few become physicians and teachers. Moving on to education, the average years of education is 11. Better than some countries, but it's definitely lower than what we have here. There's really no college in Iraq, because once people usually get to that age, they just move into an unskilled position because, like I'm going to lead into this next part here, the social classes, you really only become into a high position of work if you were born into a rich family and if you're appointed by the government. There's really no chance for lower class populations to move into upper class positions. So again, if you're looking to even start a business, you're only able to do that really if you're wealthy and appointed by the government. So lastly here, we're going to talk about religion. 90% of the population in Iraq is Muslim. It says in the Constitution that there is freedom of religion, but that really is not practiced in many places, because those who are looking to practice other religions, for example, like Christianity, can be prosecuted in the country. So, which is why 90% of the population in Iraq is Muslim. So that's my presentation on Iraq. If you're looking to start business there, it's good to know about the history of war that was going on, the structure of the government and the economy, and just what you need to know to fit into society there in Iraq. So thanks, guys.